Hey, we're here with Alan Pezo again, and we just got done talking at the last episode, kind of how he got into the sport. Now tell us a little bit more on the Lone Eagle. I mean, you had aluminum wheels. Very few guys had aluminum wheels. You had brand new Firestone tires. Tell us a little bit about how all that came about.
Well, when you build a new truck, you always want the best of the best. And in the early days, it was about show and who had the nicest looking truck. And I've always been one to try and up the next guy. So I tried to find all the components that would make it stand out, like the polished aluminum wheels and the brand new tires and different things to make it look the best that I could at that point.
Yeah.
And it really did set itself off from
Well, it was
everybody
a
else.
beautiful truck. You had that tilt front end. I remember the zoomy pipes. I mean, it had such a nice sound to it.
Right. And I tried to, I guess, incorporate showmanship, as well. The tilt bed, the tilt front end, something to be different than everybody else. When you get done with your performance, that's kind of like a thank you to the crowd. You can open it up and people get an added charge because they just seen it crush cars. Now they get to see it do another deal that not a lot of trucks had done in them days.
Yeah. So then let's talk about, so you had changed Lone Eagle into Predator with the newer body, and then you built another truck. Tell us about that one.
In those days, as we were getting busier, the big thing at that point in time was Ford Chevrolet rivalry. And some of the promoters had asked, if I built another truck, could I build a Ford? I said, well, yeah, I probably could do that. So I actually commenced to building the second truck, which actually was White Knight, and it was a Ford Ranger, short wheelbase. I figured, man, this is gonna be pretty cool. Do wheelies real easy and make it even look that much more impressive because a small truck with big tires on it kind of makes it look like like a Tonka toy, truck or something. Make it look super big, and did the same features. Did the tilt front end, the tilt bed, just to make it look similar to what I've done before, but yet be totally different because it's a mini truck versus a big truck.
So now how long did you run that truck?
I think I ran that truck for about 5 or 6 years, and then I ended up selling it to a guy close to home, and he ran it for a number of years, and then he sold it, and I don't know where it's at this point. Okay. It's kind of disappeared, I guess, like a lot of these older trucks have disappeared.
So right after that, though, you were getting a lot of demand, I think, for the Predator truck because you built another Predator, I remember.
Absolutely. As time went by, I needed more and more trucks because I was getting more and more in demand. So I built a second Predator truck, and we campaigned those two. They looked almost identical. There was very, very few pieces or differences in those two trucks. Motor-wise was pretty much about it. Suspension was the same. Back in them days, you just use a U-shaped leaf spring, and we campaigned those two for a while. Then as time went by, we actually added a tank, and it looked identical to the two trucks as well.
Now, was that the M4 or was that your other one that you did?
That was the M4 to start with, and we campaigned that for a number of years, and that was just so rough to drive. We tried to find something better that was easier on the drivers. And back in those days, there was not a whole lot of stuff out. But another puller out of Oklahoma actually found 2 different chassis. They ended up building one, and I built the other out of a 113A, which was an all aluminum tank. And we actually had to take that and cut the tub in half to narrow it up to put it on a trailer because it was 9.5 feet wide from the military. So we took 18 inches out of the center of it, narrowed it up, took all the torsion bars out, redone all the torsion bars and everything, and narrowed it up so we could put it in the trailer, and that became the second one. And basically when I originally debuted that, I took the blue Predator body off of the M4, put it on that chassis, on the 113A chassis. We ran that for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years till the body just crumbled because of all the landings. And then we switched it over to the van body after that.
Okay. All right. So now, that was, that's been quite a few years you were in the sport. Now, there was a lot of other kind of designs I remember that you came out with too that had Well, you've tried a lot of things, a lot of combinations through the years.
Absolutely. I mean, I've never been one to sit back and follow what everybody else has done. I've always tried to think ahead. How can I make this better? And it's all the hours of driving up and down the road, you know, as well as I do, sitting in the rig. Your mind wanders in a million different directions. And I love to think about, okay, this happened this weekend. This happened last weekend. What do I need to do to make this better, do a better show, make things work better, stay together, and not cost, you know, a bunch of money in broken parts. So you always look suspension technology, better components, you know, and I've always been one to strive to do, you know, the next better thing.
You guys might not want to keep your hands on the armrests like they are from
hands.
Yeah, from this perspective, it kind of looks like you're holding hands or something when you both put your
Do we
hands
need
down.
to do a different take, or did you?
No, it'll be fine.
Now everybody's gonna. Don't comment on that.